Ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing? Welcome to another installment of the Chelsea Hour. Don't mind the background noise. Once the guest comes on, I'll go up and fucking turn that off in a minute. But big up to every single one of you, true professional here, and myself, Marshall DVDX. Big up to every single one of you. Big up to everyone in the chat that already liked the video. If you haven't done so already, please smash up the like button if you just arrived. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, because guys, last night I sat here in my own thoughts like I normally do, thinking about Chelsea, thinking about the future of the club, and I came to I came to the realization, you know what? I think I know exactly what I want to do when I hit 5K. And I think it's going to be something that makes a lot of Chelsea fans proud. So I will announce it when we hit 5K. So guys, there's a pretty big development in terms of where this channel is going to go at 5K. And I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be phenomenal. So yeah, big up guys. Let's get us to 5K subscribers. So if you're new here, subscribe to the channel and check out the links in the description, because our guest, who you guys are very, very familiar with, I'm sure, has a channel as well. A link is in the description. The Bridge 258, Thebridgenation, Abed Nation, Desiree Douay Nation, Barcola Nation, Gallagher Nation, the United Nations of Chelsea rejects, has-beens, and could-have-beens. That's who we're gonna talk to today. You guys already know who he is. You guys either hate him or love him, but today we're gonna get to see a side of him that I think all of us can appreciate. We're gonna talk Chelsea. We're gonna do an hour, and it's gonna be phenomenal. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our guest for today's Chelsea Hour. Oh, I'll give you a drum roll. How about that? All right. Ahmed Abdi, the Thebridgenation station. I got a little zesty boo in there. But big up Ahmed, man. What's going on? Welcome to the channel. First time on the Chelsea Hour show.
Wow,
but not the first time on the channel at all.
Listen, man, thanks for having me on. It's the first time being on Casually FC. You know, wow, man, it's a momentous moment, you know.
Oh, you're hilarious.
I mean, it's a momentous moment, I have to say. So thank you for having me, as always. No, but obviously, listen, always great to be here. Always great to be with my good mate Marshall. Always, and talk about all things Chelsea, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, obviously you've seen the show before. I like to just get down gritty and nitty gritty and get down to the meats and potatoes of subjects and really have a thorough discussion on Chelsea, which, guys, if you don't know, I mean, me and Ahmed have hung out off stream multiple times and spoken on Chelsea, and we have some pretty in-depth conversations on Chelsea. So this is going to be like absolute like butter to toast, or in your culture, Ahmed, you know, in the UK culture, beans on toast. It'll be a match made in heaven. It's gonna feel absolutely natural. But one more thing, guys, before we continue on, memberships helps us out tremendously as well. Leave a comment down below. We'll probably read into some comments from here and there, but I think the first thing we're gonna go ahead and just get started on speaking is listen, I haven't worked on the show for tomorrow, the Casually Chelsea show, which obviously you're always a part of. I haven't really had a chance to sit down and really catch up with a lot of the things going on. I know that Bowley just recently had an interview with Bloomberg, and I'm sure a lot of people have been covering it, talking about certain quotes. I haven't looked into it, but one of the things that stood out a lot was the fact that there was a big discussion on the stadium. And from my understanding, and you can fill me in on some of the more prominent things that have occurred and the updates that have occurred since that interview. From what my understanding is that Egbali was kind of on the side of, I'm not trying to move this stadium. I'm going to just expand off of this. And now apparently more clearly it's destroy the site and rebuild from there, essentially. A demo and renovation or restoration of the Stamford Bridge. And Bowley apparently wants to go to Earl's Court. And I don't know if he said Earl's Court tit for tat, quote for quote, but apparently that is still an option, which I was convinced between me and you that was off the table, because they have already started working on development towards it. A lot of the paperwork required to do it, which I'm sure you're very familiar with being a civil engineer, that a lot of the paperwork required to get it done has been approved, and it's like green lighted to do that, the Earl's Court development project. And that was off the table, but apparently Bowley is saying no, and a new stadium is what he's aiming for. I mean, talk to me, Ahmed. What's been going on with this stuff, bro?
You know, I listen. I find in the international break, it's a great opportunity just to stay away from football. You know, it's a great thing. It allows you to relax on a little bit more. That's always say, man, and that's a benefit, particularly like when me and Marshall we basically make Chelsea content. Essentially, we talk about Chelsea, we talk about the club quite often, so it's great to have like a nice little break, and relax with it. But in regards to like what I've read today, so I decided to actually get up today with a lot more of the Chelsea news. From what I'm understanding, it was Jacobs Brent that reported that Bowley wants to go to Earl's Court, right? And now I think there was like do you remember that report, Marshall, that the government was willing like to help Chelsea like in their redevelopment fund, the stadium? Do you remember that?
So last night I did find, and I'll pull it up because I mean obviously we're going to talk about this more in detail tomorrow with the rest of the panel. Yeah, but I did find actually, you know what, let me just search it while I'm here. Chelsea Fan Accountability actually broke down exactly what's going on with Earl's Court. Big up Chelsea Fan Accountability, by the way, great account. And let's see if I can find this here. We're looking at important note. Okay, no, that's not it. Okay. Oh yeah, no, I had a back and forth with that account. Let's see. I think
this is it. Yeah, this guy apparently was breaking it down really well. Essentially, yes, this is the guy.
Here it is. Yeah. So he's saying here. Let me just make sure this looks good on our end here. Here's a summary since the original articles behind the paywall. Earl's Court Development Company is advancing plans for a 10 billion. That's a number I'm not used to saying very often. That's a big number. 10 billion people. Okay. I mean, I won't be surprised if 10 years or maybe 15, 20 years from now, we'll be starting to say trillionaires and stuff like that.
We're really talking about trillionaires at this point already. So, I mean, I think you're saying it. I think you're being a bit too nice with that number, maybe, mate. You know, probably 5 years, man. By the way,
the sheikhs and all the princes and the Saudis
the sheikhs,
will be revealed.
The princes,
trillionaires.
The techno guys, bro. They're all basically billionaires and trillionaires at this point, bro.
Disgusting amount of money. It's not even like imaginable. But anyways,
how greedy, man? How greedy?
Hold up. No, not that sound. That's what I was looking for.
Good.
The Earls Court Development Company is advancing plans for a £10 billion redevelopment of the former Earls Court Exhibition Centre site in London. The proposed master plan includes approximately 4,000 homes, 2.5 million square feet of office space, and 20 acres of public realm, aiming to create a mixed-use development with residential, commercial, and cultural spaces. However, the project has encountered opposition from local residents and councillors. Concerns have been raised about the height of the proposed buildings. Oh my God. The capacity of local infrastructure to impose
You're gonna understand why.
development.
You need to understand why. Because actually, there's a good reason. I hate that reason, by the way, in London.
The capacity of local infrastructure to support the development and the architectural style's compatibility with the surrounding area. Linda Wade, a liberal Democrat councillor, has expressed apprehension that the properties might be sold to foreign investors rather than local residents, emphasizing the importance of building communities, not just properties. Despite these challenges, ECDC remains optimistic about securing approval, viewing the project as crucial to meet London's housing demands and contributing to the broader redevelopment of West London. To support the financial aspects of this extensive redevelopment, ECDC has enlisted a capital raising expert to assist in securing the necessary funding. The reason I said, oh my God, because it doesn't have anything to do with that chapel, does it?
So the reason, listen, one of the things that yes, it does have to do with the old law, but I think the other thing is like, you know, when you build a lot of tall buildings, by the way, yeah, one of the things that it does do, yeah, is that, listen, it's very simple. When light hits something, bro, yeah, it hits back basically like this, right? It doesn't like go like this basically. So there's going to be certain parts of the buildings. So there's going to be certain buildings where there's going to be, you're not going to have natural sunlight coming in, for example, right?
Okay.
So see, like my windows, right? I've got right now, for example, my windows right now, they're angled in a way where the sunlight will always come in like natural. Like obviously today, where am I right now? It's night time, obviously, and obviously I've also got my curtain closed. But like, if natural light will always come into my room. Now, when you got a lot of tall buildings in an area, and remember the average height in the at least in London in general, is like all the buildings are built to some level of similar heights, basically, right? Yes, you may have your projects. You know what the projects are, right? They're usually tall buildings, but like they're usually included areas, right? They're not or next to each other. It's not really that deep. There's no issue when you're building it around those sort of areas. They're not gonna destroy the lighting. They've got both sides which have got windows in as well, so the light is still gonna travel through those houses into other houses as well as it's going down, essentially. So, like, listen, and plus, like, it's a human factor, bro. You gotta get some sunlight, bro. You know what I mean? We all need vitamin D. Come on now, but you actually do need vitamin D.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I know what you mean.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like in general, I hate that. I always say the lighting stuff is obviously a good point. And then I think there was something about the foreign investor issue. Now that I actually think is a good point too. This is me speaking like on a personal level, right? If you listen on a personal level, like obviously West London, obviously is more so known for Chelsea, Kensington, Knightsbridge, you know, the bougie, the bad and bougie areas, if that makes sense, right? And a lot of the problem is because obviously I grew up there, right? So I have a bit more of understanding there. A lot of these places, bro, they get brought by a lot of these rich guys, and they're not here for like 90% of the year, bro. Or they buy them as investments, and then there's no homes there, bro, right? No one's living there. They're essentially just empty houses, bro, that no one lives in. So so essentially you've got a bunch of houses that are just there doing nothing, but just there as essentially assets, essentially, right? Which is which also is a big problem, because then it's like there's no local community. The local community has been reduced, but there's no people living in the houses too, which does not help you there as well at the end of the day too. Which I think the lady's making a quite a solid point for. I'll be honest, at the end of the day. So, but again, I just think for me, yeah, a lot of these stuff that you're hearing right now, I would unironically probably make the argument because of like where Stamford Bridge is, there's only like a certain amount of local housing in the area in terms of where the actual stadium is built, because it's like to the B2, it's right to the right. It's gonna be to the right side. There's a lot of like that type of building being built, and you could probably mitigate a lot of these issues that you're having by just having it placed over there. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, one question I have, because this is obviously, I'm out of touch when it comes to this stuff because I don't live in London. You do. This part right here, viewing the project as crucial to meeting London's housing demands and contributing to the border redevelopment. Okay, so this part right here, meeting London's
we're having a housing
demands.
crisis, not just in London. We have a housing crisis in London because we're not building enough houses to like actually like, you know, build stuff for people.
Based off of that, though, doesn't that already tell you that very likely they will not approve a stadium because that doesn't go towards that? Or is that going to be like a totally different?
What you need to also realize is look at the second section, redevelopment
and
of West London. Redevelopment.
To the, okay.
You see what I mean? Listen, you need to understand, bro. Money talks. What does a stadium bring to you? Tourists. It brings money into the area.
A lot of gentrification.
Right? It brings listen, I think it's already been gentrified that area, man.
I'm sure.
London, bro.
It's
you know
London,
what I mean?
Yeah.
West Kent, maybe not. West Kensington. If you know West Kensington, you know that's where Brentford and that's
big up West Kensington. Kensington.
You know Brentford fires and stuff like that. It happened in West Kent, right? Obviously, it was really terrible. RIP to all those people that passed away and died, so to say, and everything like that, right? But like that West Kent area needs to be redeveloped, in my personal opinion. Like that's something they'll probably be looking at. That like too many poor people there. Time to gentrify, basically. That's what it's. I hate to put it like that, but that's basically the way.
That's
the way it is.
It's kind of how a lot of these things work, right? Because I mean, I witnessed it for Red Bulls essentially years back, where Red Bull Arena is, or Sports Illustrated Arena, it's what it's called now. What it used to be was a bunch of abandoned, no longer in use warehouses. A lot of it was just it wasn't a livable area. It was actually, for lack of a better term, it was very dangerous. It was very ghetto.
I can just tell you this for free. You know where I live right now? It just used to be, it's like a train station that's like next to me. I'm not doxing myself. This is not really doxing myself, but the train station next to me, right?
Yeah.
And then this area was essentially just empty land, bro. It's empty land. It was just part of like an extended car park, bro. Area.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And then they decided we need to build stuff. Like, obviously, because you're from New York, I'm from London. They basically are very similar cities in the sense that until like I'll probably say the 2000s, like early 2000s, 90%, half the city was full of empty buildings, bro. Right? Abandoned buildings or like really big car park areas or just like empty air spaces, right? But then then what happened? The .com boost and all this other stuff started taking place, and then we just got super gentrification happening where like every empty part of land has to be built on now. Essentially.
Yeah. No, and that's kind of how it is, because like I was saying, with that stadium being built there, Harrison, New Jersey, where it's located, right? That area went from being very, ghetto, very dangerous area, a lot of abandoned homes, a lot of poverty, into very gentrified. You know what they did is they put I think it started with the Path train station, right? That was there first, and then as a result, right next to the stop where Harrison is, they built the stadium. So people from New York could travel to New Jersey to watch the Red Bulls play. Now, obviously, was it that successful? Probably not, because Red Bulls aren't that big of a team. But regardless, the idea was to, bring a lot of people who were to commute to the city, to make them use the station. Like, all of it's all gentrified. There's just a lot of nice buildings. They're building all these. They're still building on it, right? By the way, there's a lot of building these parks for children, and it looks really nice now. I would even say the same thing for Newark, New Jersey. Newark, New Jersey, or actually, you know what? Let's do a reference. Let me do a reference that everyone is going to understand, and that's going to be Brooklyn. When was the last time you went to? When was the last time you visited New York?
Me? I've never been to New York. I'll be honest.
Really?
I've been to other parts of the US, but not New York. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Bro? Yes.
Wow. I'm surprised. Usually everyone wants to go to New York. Like that's the number one tourist.
I have obviously, I said this before, I've got family that live in like Virginia. I've been to California because I was like, I had to see, what was fun about that and other stuff like that. But like I've never been to New York, even though I've always wanted to go there, man, for a number of reasons. Shout out Stuart Little, man. That's my I used to watch this on repeat as a kid. I'm sorry, bro.
Jesus. Well, for the World Cup, a lot of people. So for the World Cup, a lot of you guys that are UK based are probably going to want to travel to New York MetLife because that's the closest stadium to the UK in terms of for traveling from UK to the US, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Now, the Meadowlands is like maybe a 5 or 10 minute drive without traffic from New York. You can see the New York City skyline from MetLife in that general area because it's that close. And it wasn't that long ago. I want to say like maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where that skyline was just Manhattan. And then they had the other boroughs like Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx. And now Bronx has been so gentrified, not Bronx, Brooklyn has been so gentrified that it's made another skyline. Like there's Manhattan, which there was a point in my life where when I saw Manhattan, I would recognize it because it had all the tall buildings, all the skyscrapers and all that stuff. And I crossed the bridge to Brooklyn and I saw the same thing. And I'm like, oh my God, Brooklyn's becoming another version of Manhattan. It's crazy. So it's essentially like seeing London expanded to the rest of the UK. It was fascinating to see over the course of time. So with this whole new stadium thing, that's eventually what's gonna happen. You're seeing what's happening with the United Stadium, right? Their plans to do that. Whether they go through with it or not, we'll see. They're saying they're going to go through with it. By 2030, we'll have that stadium. But that's going to change the whole landscape of Manchester in just that area and the area around it.
Look at what Man City's doing, but Man City's been doing that sort of thing already, if I'm not mistaken. Because I know a lot of Man City fans talk about the area that the stadium has been built has been kind of transformed with the number of housing projects and stuff that's been happening in Manchester as well. All right, big up to Corey Parrott, man. You know what I mean? But we're not saying double gentrification, Corey Parrott. We're more so talking about just the reality of what's gonna happen.
This is what happens when you bring in touristy attractions. People want to start moving there.
Because it already happens, like, listen, it's already naturally happening because we're already on the King's Road. We're pretty much near Knightsbridge. We're in like basically central London, essentially, at this point, right? Like, you're essentially, this already happens at Chelsea, bro. We already get a crazy amount of tourists in Chelsea, right? So this is not a problem at this point. Like, again, so anything that's this, if anything, this is only going to increase now, right? If you got a bigger stadium, it's only going to increase more if this sort of thing is set to occur. If that makes sense.
I do. So I mean, it's nice and all to talk about this, but what is the reality of it? Like, is it actually going to happen?
Again, I think, listen, first we have to see if they even bring a proposal. Firstly, right?
Yeah.
Because, like,
and if they do bring a proposal, it has to be soon, right?
I feel like the way these new stuff keeps on breaking and stuff like that, it feels like to me there's something in the pipe works. It must be at this point, right? It does feel like that in the sense, you know. Listen, we know this club, man. PRFC, you need to know, man. When they're bringing up feelers, they're telling you, is this a bust? Usually something's happening, bro. You know what I mean? That's it, man. Again, all I have to do, bro, is look at the Sancho's needs now, bro. It's starting. Chelsea want to. Oh, I didn't. They want to sign Sancho. Chelsea's now got a 5 million fee, thingy fee. And now today there was like some news I saw about Sancho saying Chelsea are going to decide now at the end of the season what to do with Sancho. So you know these guys, bro. No one knows better. None of me and you, Marshall, know these guys better than anyone else, bro. We know their game. Yeah. But like, I just think for me, we'll have to see if the proposal comes first. Whatever proposal actually comes in first, you have to find out, right? And then obviously then it's gonna be down to the CPO, right? And all their shareholders are probably gonna have to have it put to a vote, right?
Right. I saw this image here real quick.
Right.
This is a lot.
Yeah, it's just one road. It's just one road. I told you this before, Marshall. Legit one road. I told you this before, but our school is literally just next to us, bro.
I've just never seen it like this from this
in real time. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, continue what you were saying. Sorry.
Yeah, so like just saying, like, again, obviously once you have a proposal, you have to bring it to the CPO. Then I would assume the CPO would then get it to a vote with every single CPO member voting essentially one way or another, if that makes sense, right? So, and then we have to see what happens. Now, obviously, they can say yes or no, right, to whichever proposal happens, right? And once that's the case, right, the next step, of course, is gonna be if they say no, obviously, it's either you change up whatever you were planning to do, or maybe bring in a revised offer or stuff like that maybe, you know, you can get guys on your side more so on with, or maybe you wait a little bit, maybe you try to get stuff on the pitch cooking for them to allow you then to maybe agree to whatever you want to do, right? That might be another aspect of it, Marshall. You have to look at it from all angles.
Yeah, I know. Results based and all that.
There's the other one. There's the other nasty thing, which this is the one I don't want to happen, by the way. Yeah, this is the one where I'm like, we cannot let this happen. They can't do this, by the way. Which is, they say F the Chelsea name. We're gonna call ourselves Chelsea Athletic or some weird shit like that. Yeah, and move stadiums, bro, on purpose, bro. That. That's one. That's the, because remember, that is basically the last resort, essentially. Yeah, if they really just want to just force that to happen and don't care what these guys think, yeah, and like, they will still support the club no matter what, yeah. F whatever stuff. F the CPO. That genuinely, bro, could be a reality too. If that makes sense.
Dude, if that were to happen, I think that would be the breaking point for me, where I would go, yeah, this ain't Chelsea, literally.
That literally isn't Chelsea, bro.
Yeah, literally, we ain't Chelsea no more.
We ain't Chelsea no more, bro. But so that's the thing, right? So now JC, if I'm not, from what I understand, again, don't tell me, I may be extremely wrong, I may be chatting up so much. The thing is, the thing that they have the agreement with the CPO is that a team named Chelsea has to be played at Stamford Bridge. So that so going to another stadium is gonna basically destroy their contract. By the way, would literally rip up their contract, because it'd be like, it's pointless. Because then you'd have to either amend, make a whole new contract thing where it's like a team named Chelsea needs to be playing at the new stadium in Elsko, whatever it's called, right? That's what we have to be.
And it's tricky. Like, where I'm at with it, I'm not very optimistic that the CPO are going to be cooperative. It's supposed to be what, 75% of the votes need to be in support for.
Really? I was hoping it would be. I thought it would be natural, like first past the post thing, where it's like only 50%.
No, a lot of people have been telling me that in order for any plan to be approved, 75% of it needs to be approved.
I have to be honest, 75% is a bit too much, no?
Yeah.
I feel like from a voting perspective, that's way too much. That's actually like, that means a 25%.
That's like a true majority, pretty much.
But I get it's a true majority, but the problem with that is that technically means 26% can basically hold you hostage.
And I'm worried that that's going to be the case, because a lot. Listen, Ahmed, like,
that's nasty.
Me and
you, say, bro.
It is.
That is nasty.
Me and you. I hold us to a category of human being where, like, we're smart enough to actually discuss these things, think it through, put our emotions to the side. A lot of fans aren't like that. A lot of fans, you see them on the social medias, you see them in videos saying, they'll just say no to anything. They're like, the Republican Party. I hate to bring up politics, but they're pretty much the Republican Party, or the what's his face, the old guy in the U. Mitch. Basically, there's a lot of fans that want to be the Mitch McConnell of the Chelsea ownership and just say no to anything they say.
You know what the problem is, Marshall, and I think it's three things, right? Sentimentality, right? Listen, I'm a very sentimental person. You know this too, Marshall. Yeah, I love talking about our former players. I
get that too.
Right? Listen, I'm literally I collect things from the past as a hobby, but like, I love going to Stamford Bridge, bro. One of the things I always say, man, is like, as a young guy growing up next to the stadium, bro, being able to go there even now as a bit of an adult now that I've got money, being able to get tickets every now and then to go watch games, bro. Genuinely, bro, it's the best feeling you can ever have, bro, as a fan, bro. Having being your local team. Yes, maybe it's not going through the greatest of times on the pitch, but like, just going there, having that atmosphere, the experience, bro, it's always great, bro. But I think part of it also is that when you're looking at all the other teams around the league, bro, and like, you're now the 10th biggest, like the 10th biggest now, essentially. Like, Everton's overtaking you. A lot of the big clubs, bro, like, and everything like that, like, are doing this now as well. I think obviously on some level you have to look at that and be like, bro, can we stay like this also forever? Like, yes, it's great, but like, I don't know. Like, listen, you may accept it, right? But like, are your other fan mates, or whatever you want to call them, gonna accept that too? So the sentimentality, obviously, aspect of the situation, right? That's one thing. I think a secondary thing, Marshall, I've brought this up to you on stream before, is that there's a big problem in my eyes here with that. I think if you look at just England in particular, if you exclude Manchester City, who have moved stadiums, right? No other English team realistically has moved stadiums, bro, has gotten some level of like good success from it, bro. Right?
Yeah.
You could argue Arsenal have gotten worse off for it, bro. Right?
In the beginning, for sure. Yeah.
In the beginning, right? Spurs, it's a Spursy, but they have like, it's crazy because I've actually passed the Spurs stadium a few times, bro. That shit looks amazing, but because the team isn't good enough or whatever, the investment's not there, bro. It's like, what's the point of having the stadium there, bro? Right? You then look at West Ham. You can say yes, they got the Conference League, but if you really go to that new stadium, bro, that's a far cry from Upton Park. I'll be real. Like Upton Park, bro. Like I always say, yes, it was an old school stadium, but like it had their atmosphere. It was closest. It had everything, bro. But when you go to like essentially an Olympic stadium, you've only won one Conference League, but like the atmosphere isn't the same, bro. I'll be honest. So Bayern really Man City, as I said before, all these other clubs that have moved, bro, have not moved to major success in my eyes, right? And if you are a fan, right, of like if you're a fan who owns a CPO shareholder, you're looking at that and it's like, what's the point of us moving stadium, bro? Look at all these other guys, bro. They haven't had success, bro. You can say other leagues have, like Juventus when they moved when they got their new stadium built, successful. Obviously Bayern, right? Obviously, what's it called? You look at Real Madrid, obviously you look at their stadium and how much success they're having. Barcelona, we'll see what happens once they move into the renewed Camp Nou and stuff like that. But like in general, bro, like that's what we're talking about here, Marshall, right? Those are those examples, bro, do not help our case, at least UK wise, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
right? But that's, if you're a Premier League fan, that's who you're watching, right?
Yeah, and I understand that perspective, but I think in the long run, it's one of those like you take the bullet now so that you can live to fight another day, versus you stay where you are. And if I understand this correctly, in the course of time, there will come a point where every other club will make more. With the way the prices of players are going up, with the way transfer fees have been going up, it's been demanding that the sport make more revenue more than ever now. And listen, our fan base despise the way that the model's been going in terms of using players almost like as a stock and investing in this player, having the stock go up, sell high, buy low. And unfortunately, we understand that it's set up like that right now because we just don't make, and not that it's the end all be all, but it's not set up in a way where it's sustainable just based off stadium revenue and events revenue and all that kind of stuff. So in the long run, if we stay where we are right now, if we stay in the size that we are, eventually those funds are going to run out. Eventually, it's just not going to be sustainable. We said it on here before. It's not sustainable.
Part of it, Marshall, is that I think, I always say this before, right? A big problem for me, is that we need to realize, bro, part of the reason why this model exists, bro, is because we're not run by unicorn anymore. Like I feel like that's something.
Yeah, that's true.
We fail to understand. I think that's a little bit.
We're owned by business owners, and business owners care about profit.
We own business owners, bro. These guys want to essentially
investors. Yeah.
Listen, these investors want to make sure they're able to cash in with the maximum amount of money. Then by the time they're in year 10, because that's basically their plan. What they would like to earn on, right? 100%. That's essentially their plan. So if you want that to happen, you have to find a successful model where you're able to buy these guys. You're not going to be able to do the stadium where you're going to be able to make sustainable money. Right? And you look at it, this is what the young mid-kid model part of it is. They're trying to sell these guys young, make money off them over time and stuff like that, bro. And that is one thing here that is going to be part and parcel if you're going to have to accept if you're staying in Stamford Bridge, bro. That's what you have to accept.
What worries me is that if we sustain this model where we don't have a stadium, where we're relying on transfers to make our money and investing in players to make our money, I'm worried that eventually those funds aren't going to be able to cover enough. And over the course of time, we'll just become another Nottingham Forest. And not the one that we're seeing now. I'm talking about the one that got just promoted, And it's one of those things that, because eventually everyone's going to have more money than us. Everyone's going to make more money than us. And everyone's going to grow in. Like, I could see if we stay in the stadium 10, 20, 30 years from now, we're no longer in the Big Six conversation. It's another Big Six club that they've been able to keep up. They have the money to buy players. They have the money to, do all the things that they need to do in order to make the club successful. We're running short because it's how the economy is going. So that's where I'm worried about with the stadium. That's how I see this whole idea of like, because I get it, the sentimentality of it. Like I've never said the word get rid of Stamford Bridge. I don't think it should be gotten rid of. If anything, at the very least, it should be a historical monument / museum of some sort until the UK government decide, no, we need to get rid of this. But if anything, we even said before, use it for the women's team. I think that's a perfectly great way to honor what Stamford Bridge is and to pass it along to another generation of fans that are going to appreciate it as well. And those and like we were saying too, like with women fan, like the women's football game is another generation, right? It's another iteration of the game that is growing as well. So for me, I think you can still make use of it. You can still honor what Stamford Bridge is, because I don't want to take away all the legacy. I don't want to take away all the moments that have been celebrated, that and all the memories. I think the CPO are absolutely justified in not wanting to leave to an extent, but also it's not necessarily like we're getting rid of it. I say keep it, and then you move the team to a bigger stadium, because now you're bigger than the Stamford Bridge, but it's there. It's historically there. There's history there. Don't take it down. Use it for something else. Use it for other events, so on and so forth. Give it the honor that it deserves. But that's the stadium talk. I think another thing we need to discuss is the players that play in that stadium. And going into, listen, we've had a detox. I think a lot of us have calmed down from, well, I say a lot of us. We might not be included in this, but I feel like a lot of us have calmed down from what's been going on at Chelsea, because we have not been thinking about Chelsea at the forefront. I think most people have been watching England or their international team, so on and so forth. But at some point, we do have to come back to Chelsea. And at some point, we do need to have the discussion of where we are going to end the season. And I still stand strong that we will end the season like I said we were going to end. 71 points, 72 points. 71 points more likely now. But Ahmed, are you still worried that we will not make a Champions League spot?
You know, I am a bit. I still am on some level pessimistic right now. Right, I'm not gonna say we're not gonna make it, but I am on. I do veer on the side of pessimism, for a number of reasons right now. I think, you know what I mean. Like, I think for me, the form that we are coming into, is very worrying in my eyes, right? The form has continued for a long while, Marshall, right? One players were there, one players got injured, one players have even come back, bro, right? So that form consistency is a big worry in my eyes, right? I think another thing that we need to also look at, in my personal opinion, is that you then look at, the guys that come back. Jackson coming back is going to be obviously a boost, you know what I mean? Madueke coming back is going to be a boost too, but we also need to be truthful about the fact that when these guys were playing for us, bro, they were also out of form. Well, yes. Jackson in particular, I'll probably say. Madueke, he was probably still himself, in my personal opinion. But Jackson in particular was extremely out of form, bro. He was like performing all-time low stinkers for him at Chelsea, in my personal opinion. Right? So it's like, yes, bringing these back in, I think from like a performance standpoint, will it help our team improve? Yes. But my question also becomes, are these guys going to be hopefully get into some form? Are they going to continue that form? Right? Because they're going to be out of form as well, playing into this stuff, right? And everything like that. So that's a thing that you have to look at too. My issue also is that there's like a tertiary issue in the sense of like, you and me, and I'm pretty sure the chat already knows, we concede on average a goal per game. Right? So that means we have to be scoring at minimum per game 2 goals, bro. Right? You've already got a Palmer that's extremely out of form, that's not shooting. You've got Nicholas Jackson that prior to the injury was out of form and not shooting, bro. Sancho had his first shot, bro, since Boxing Day, just 2 weeks ago, bro. Madueke right? I look at him. He usually shoots, but again, he just does his job. In my personal opinion. You then got Neto, right? Neto's another one where I'm like, he's having a come ça season as well. Sometimes he's cooking, sometimes he's not, right? So, like, this is the question I asked. I don't know if I can get an average of 2 goals per game. Like, one of the criticisms that me and you have had before, sorry, I should say, not myself, is that this team cannot hold a 1-0 lead, right?
Yeah.
And we know that we can't do this because, again, our defense, sadly, is not up to the level that it should be either. So, I don't know, bro. What are your thoughts on that? Because, like, I just feel like, for me, this is what I veer right now on the side of pessimism. Like, the only thing that, you know, I think for me that is some level a positive, bro, right now, like, is that we may be terrible, right, and poor in form, right, but do you know what I would probably say? The guys around us also are doing this the ECG meter, high low, high low, high low too. That's what they're doing too, bro. Around us.
Yeah.
So I guess that's obviously a point towards you, but like, if I'm just looking at Chelsea specifically, there's a lot to be, I think, relative unknowns, bro, right now, right? Relative unknowns, I'll probably say, is the best to use.
I feel like with the 9 games, because it is 9 games, right? Like, there's 9 games left in the season. Yep. I feel like with the 9 games left that are remaining, if we can just get 3 wins, I think we secure top 4. Based off of what you just said too, with the whole yo-yo effect of everyone else. I think everyone else's form has been so up and down that with 3 wins, I think we could. That's enough to secure a European spot. Now, I do take a step back and come to the tournament.
Time out. Thank you to you, Sean. This is another point we need to discuss to you, Marshall. That I literally, not leaders, mentality. Because you know I've spoken about mentality on your shows before, right? We have a major mentality issue at this club.
Big time.
Right?
Big time.
You know this, I know this. I speak about this.
Bad.
I feel like these days, bro, for a long while, the mentality of the team, bro, is not good, bro. Going down 1-0, bro, for us, bro, it's like a daily occurrence these days, bro.
Yeah. No, it is, and especially right after we get on the scoreboard, immediately let our guard down, and boom, or we concede and we lose the lead that we were working so hard to get. I think mentality is a big portion. I'll address that in a second, but I think I take a step back to what I say as well, because I'm not delusional enough to say that form and the international break only affects us. Because I did say, I think once we come back from international break, I think we really needed because I think these players need a break from the Premier League to give themselves a chance to get back mentality, to be sharper, right? And to come back and maybe, heal up from a bunch of the injuries that they might be going through right now. Because let's be honest, a lot of players play with injuries, and that could always affect how you perform on the pitch. A lot of players mask it. They don't talk about it, but that's the reality of it. A lot of players are playing through injury. They won't admit it. So this is a chance for them to recover a bit. And this is what happens when you get towards the end of the season. A lot of the players aren't as fresh and as sharp as they were in the beginning of the season. It happens.
Who's playing for injury though, Marshall, right now?
No, I don't know. I would just assume that there are. Like Caicedo, I wouldn't be surprised if Caicedo has been playing through an ankle sprain and stuff like that.
Because for me, like, my thing is, like, obviously you mentioned Caicedo's playing international football right now.
Yeah.
So if there was like an injury issue, bro, the club would be telling him, hold it, bro. Because that guy is second in the
but I'm not saying like an injury you can play through. Like, bro, put some dirt on it. Like Jorginho, when he was at the club, bro, he played through a lot of injuries.
Okay, I get what you mean now. Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
now, yes.
Just masking it and just playing through it. And I think a lot of players go through that. Like, our players are no exception. The other teams are no exception. So I feel like the international break doesn't just benefit us as a team. I think it does benefit us a lot because we're a young team. It also does benefit other teams. So I'm not disillusioned enough to think that, the form that Newcastle are on, it's going to continue after international break, but our form is going to be all right after international break. I'm not disillusioned enough to think that. I understand that everyone is going to be able to pretty much start from the same starting point pretty much. In terms of the mentality, though, I do feel that the players that have been out with injury, I do have this genuine belief in me that because they've been out of the limelight for the longest amount, we're talking Jackson, Nani, Giyu. I don't think Giyu was really much affected by it, but we'll just throw him in for the sake of this argument. Lavia as well. I think these players being out of that limelight for as long as they've been out of it gives them a chance to not be sucked in to the vortex of the bad form that essentially has been going on in the club. Like, you look at, for example, Matisse Tell, right? Matisse Tell at Tottenham started off great, electric, but eventually the bad form of the rest of the player just kind of consumes him in, and he starts to become sucked into that plague. You know what I'm trying to say now? So Jackson, who's been out of that, Nani, who's been out of that limelight, I do have a feeling, and even Palmer to an extent, right? I do have a feeling that when they come back into it, they will be much more refreshed, much more confident, and that'll help push and get a lot of these players out of that rut too. Let me just read the super chat real quick. Sheikh Hasena Nema, I think I read that correctly. Thank you for the 5.99 euros super chat, my friend. Throwing Esteval into the Lions Den in his first season isn't good for his confidence. It takes time to settle in. That's why he should compete with Nani. And I think he will. I don't think Nani's going anywhere this summer.
I feel like Dallas Crook stuff, bro, is just a lot of what's it called?
It's the same rinse and repeat story that was getting clicks before. I genuinely don't think he goes anywhere. And speaking on that too, I might as well bring up the whole Jadon Sancho thing, because for me, I feel like because of the wages, they could, pay the 5 million to send him back to United. And apparently, according to Bild, he hit up his agent to talk to Dortmund. So he's kind of looking for a way out. But I don't necessarily think he's been bad. I just don't think he has been putting up the GA, if you get what I'm saying.
I think the problem is, Marshall, the moment you hear about 5 million fee, it's game over. He's not coming back next season, bro. I think for me, in my personal opinion, Sancho, I think he had a great start to the season. Let's not get twisted. Yeah. Right? He was performing well, but over essentially when our form has dipped, he has dipped too in form, in what he's been able to do, right? And everything that we've been asking from him as well has not helped. I also think the thing is, the way Korea has been playing in this, I feel like he doesn't invert or like overlap like he used to. He's more so, he's like a super inverter now, because he's crashing the box now. He doesn't do the thing where he naturally inverts with Sancho, like to allow Sancho to get the space and do what he does best, because of the way Korea's been played now by MARESCA, if that makes sense. So that's not helped him either. Him not trying to shoot as well has not helped me either. So at the end of the day, man.
But I feel like he's never been that player though. Like the thing about the
reason
Sancho,
why I have to disagree with that, Marshall, is that if you look at his Dortmund days pre-United, he was a shooter and he was an assister, bro. He was doing both on a consistent basis. That's the thing, bro. He actually does both.
Okay.
So that's the one I have to disagree with you with.
I think with me with Sancho is that, like, I think both of us can recognize that he is a good player. He is a good player, but it's the effectiveness in this system that's not there. We need wingers that can give us assists. We need wingers that can give us goals. It's nice that you can dribble and create, but how often are you creating clear-cut chances? How often are you getting a shot on target? How often are you being threatening enough? And I think to an extent, to contrast, I fucking miss Nani Madueke for that reason. Like, I was never his biggest critic. I did understand the frustration about the player sometimes shooting more than, looking for the clear-cut pass that was in front of him. But when I'm looking at Sancho, who is playing the safe pass all the time and really, really being safe and not losing the ball, not being bad, but also you're not really doing much. I'm like, damn, at least Madueke is doing something, trying something. Like, he's dribbling past and players and stuff, and maybe he's shooting when he should be passing, but hey, at least he's trying something to get us on the scoreboard. And I think fans are starting to appreciate that a little bit more too, up until he starts to do it again, and then they, walk it back, which is what usually happens.
The problem with Madueke, you've heard me say it before. Madueke's issue is that, he doesn't get an overlap, bro, from like Gusto and everything like that, because Gusto's being inverted, which is not how Gusto are as well, by the way. Which is something I think a manager, in my personal opinion, a bit more now than usual. If they've been a bit more fairer. And decision making is not helping him either, bro. When to shoot, when to cross.
No, for sure. I mean, and that's something that I think that's the problem with the young team, right? That's something that comes with experience. And you've heard me say it. I've never liked the way that we've approached this model. I don't hate the model. I hate the approach. I hate that we got rid of so many experienced players in a time where we could have used them to teach the youngsters the ropes, to learn from examples on how to do this and that. Right now, we're just letting them learn on their own. And some will sink, some will swim. And it's brutal. It's brutal in that sense, because we're seeing with the players that we're being sold.
And it's a killer, bro.
No, and to an extent, like, I like that there's almost like a standard back at Chelsea. Like, I know you like Ugochukwu, but in the preseason that's coming up, or the Club World Cup, to be honest, let's call that a preseason. In the Club World Cup that's coming up, if he doesn't take his chances, and everyone else, Santos, Isugu, Enzo, Lavia, everyone else steps up and shows that they're better, he's gonna get sold without having ever played like a real full season with Chelsea.
And then this is again where I feel like the problem becomes, bro.
It's brutal, but
Ugochukwu, bro, last summer, when I was telling you should stay at the club because he suits a lot of the issues that we were solving. I said this, bro, and like you look at it now, having Ugochukwu there, bro, would have solved us a lot of issues to it would have lessened the blow we would be having right now, bro. I just think for me, bro, again, this discussion we're having goes back to something we spoke about before, where there's like a clear, like, poor squad building / management that's being done by the sport directors and to the ownership as well, right? Which is killing us, bro. Right? It's generally killing the team, bro. That's the problem.
To an extent, I agree. I think to another extent, the way I think it could be is that we're getting so many players that only the strongest will survive.
I think,
it's brutal,
but I think for me, bro, we don't need that right now, bro. I think that the problem
we need to get rid of players to make money, to be honest.
I think our problem right now, bro, is that we don't need survival for the space. That should have been last season. Last season should have been under Poch was the best example for you to see who is strong, who is weak. Time to move on, bro. That's genuinely and again, the same guys we talked about last season. That's
literal survival of the fittest.
Right? That was survival of the fittest last season.
Literal survival of the fittest.
Exactly, Marshall, right? And then this season, we're talking about the same guys that we were criticizing last season, bro. Again. Right? So we already know who are not criticizing from last season, Marshall.
Well, I mean, it's, for example, Cucurella. I feel like I'm not criticizing as much.
No, but remember, Cucurella improved by the time he got to the end of the season, bro.
It got to the end of the season, but even prior to that,
he improved throughout the season, Marshall, right? He improved
very slowly, but not like this season. But
no. Like this season, he's been consistent. That's the difference.
Okay, Enzo,
whether I liked him or not, he was gonna stay, bro. He was here to stay.
Well, no, I know that, but like, compared to last season, I had my complaints about him.
Fair enough, but like again, I just think like 99 to 98% of the team, bro, we complain about is still the same, right? And we're still comparing about the same guys again.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like we should have moved those guys on, bro, by now. And then again, this is what I talk about, bro. The experienced heads should have been brought in now that would have provided the quality for the team, bro. To now just like push it to the next level, Marshall. That's what was needed.
Push it to the limit.
There we go.
That's where I'm thinking. But no, I get what you're saying. My only concern with how things are going, and not to say it's not like a concern at all, but this is my biggest concern, I say, going forward. My only and biggest concern is getting rid of a lot of these players that we have. I just don't I think we're going to get rid of a good chunk, but I don't think we're going to get rid of all of them. And I think that's the problem. I'm sorry. It's not possible to sell about 20 players in a window. I really don't think that's going to happen. There's a lot of players that need to be moved on, and a lot of them I don't think are going to get other moves. Chilwell, Sterling, Broja.
Listen, Marshall, but listen, they put themselves in this corner.
They did.
Up to them. It's up to them now to do that, to do their job, bro. And listen, some of that means, bro, you're gonna have to accept you're gonna make a loss, bro. Some of these guys, bro, they have to accept that, bro. If they are trying to do penny pinching, yeah, and start saying, "Oh, we need to be breaking even on some of these guys, bro," it's not gonna happen, bro. Sterling, it's not gonna happen. Chilwell is not gonna happen. Boria, it doesn't matter, bro.
This model would have been perfect under the Roman era. I mean, it was kind of there already, but like
really that basically, yeah. But I know you mean.
All the players that you're getting, you had unlimited loans essentially. Now that you're capped, some of these players are stuck at Chelsea doing nothing but twiddling their thumbs.
Exactly.
I personally don't like that. I feel like that's like inhumane and that's hurting the players' careers. I'm not a fan of that. I personally would rather invest in their careers so that I can sell them off for more if I don't think they're good enough. Because I do like the idea of survival of the fittest. I think that's something that we do need to bring back to Chelsea. Because I feel like when we were under Roman, somewhere along the way, we kind of lost it. Like, we lost having that survival of the fittest. Like, you know, in the wings, we had Pulisic and Ziyech, or Pulisic and... who else did we have in the right wing? I don't think it was interchanging. It was, who else did we have in the right wing? Sometimes, like, there was barely any competition. But now it's like, yo, Nani, Esteval's coming. And you got Cole that can play in that position. If you don't step up, you will get sold. And these guys will play on. And then we'll get other players that will compete with these guys. And if those players that we bought are better than these guys, those guys get sold too. Like, you need to step up in order to play at Chelsea. And I like that. But to an extent, I don't like the leftovers. I don't like the leftovers staying and we're not doing shit with them. I think that's a loss of money. A waste of money.
I get that, bro. But listen, it's time for them to start. Listen, they need to do the same thing they did, yeah, when they lost money on Ziyech, when they lost money in Koulibaly. They need to accept,
it wasn't their money.
But
that's
listen,
the problem.
It was their money because Koulibaly was their money.
Oh, Koulibaly was. Yeah, you're right.
Right, that's what I'm bringing up. Listen, some of these guys, you just got to accept, bro. Yeah, we're going to lose money. Time to keep it pushing, bro. Marshall, look, let's start again. Sanchez, bro, you're never going to break even with Sanchez. You're never going to get enough money from Sanchez, bro. Right? You're just going to get a certain amount of money, right? That's it. Keep it pushing. Chilwell, you can only get a certain amount of money from again. Keep it pushing. This is why I'm saying, Marshall, you're never going to break even with any of these players, bro. Right? It's going to take a miracle for some of the guys I mentioned. Sanchez, Chilwell, Sterling, Buddy Shaw. Disasi, actually, you might break even Disasi. I can't believe I'm saying that. You may be able to break even with Disasi in terms of book value because of like how well he's actually done for Aston Villa, right? You could actually break even of him, right? Buddy Shaw already said. I'm trying to think of other ones. Help me out here, Marshall, that we're gonna probably sell.
I don't think Gusto's in that conversation. KDH,
you're never gonna make that money. You're never gonna make the 30 billion back for Kevin KDH ever again. 20 million for Mudryk. Listen, he might actually just have his contract ended, bro. That's genuinely what might be. So you might be in a case where you just got minus 62 M's, including wages on your bill.
I mean, you got 3 seasons of poop, out of him, but that's about it. It's not a good look.
Like Felix, for example. So Felix, yeah, you actually couldn't make your money back on Felix, ironically, because of the way the price has been brought at. Plus the loan fee already. You already got like a 5 million loan fee for him, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's really like, so he said 36 minus 5, 29 million, bro. You can make 29 million. Felix, bro,
I think so. I genuinely feel though that when it comes to selling, the club does a pretty good job of getting a good fee out of players that are out of favor. Like, I was surprised how much money we actually managed to agree a deal on with Napoli for Lukaku. I was surprised how much money we got in terms of like Mason Mount 1 year left on this contract. What I don't like with our ownership and our directors is these guys suck at buying players. They might get it across the line, but
do you know what, Marshall? I don't know if you saw this, yeah.
What's up?
Listen, I had to do the anti-detox today, yeah. So I've made sure to read through what have I been missing the last few days.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
According to
Yeah.
the Athletic, yeah, they have said Chelsea have lined up bids, incomings and outgoings to be they're all but done by the end of June.
Yeah, apparently because Club World Cup is coming and they need to just
Now-
get that done ASAP.
Now listen, yeah. They said that last season too, if you remember. Before the MARESCA preseason, all
Maybe.
incomings and outgoings will be the number. That's what they said last season.
Yeah.
Right? They said that because they were like, oh, we want to make sure he goes into the preseason without buying any players, right?
Yeah.
And I just listen. I'm looking forward to the next 2 to 3 weeks, yeah, when we end the season, yeah, and seeing what happens, bro. Because if they're true to what they're saying, the next 2 to 3 weeks afterwards, bro, I'm expecting to see here we goes,
A
signings done.
lot of here we goes, yeah.
Right? I'm expecting that to be happening. Because if not, then you've been talking out of your bum cheeks, basically. Essentially, that's what
Yeah.
they're doing. That's what they're doing. And like, the thing is, Marshall, I look at our last sum window, bro, yeah, and Bridgenation's got a little theory, now.
Oh boy.
Do you remember?
I'm scared of your theories, bro. But go ahead.
Me and you were watching preseason together, right? Because I remember me and you were watching preseason, right? And like, remember, not the vast majority of our signings, barring basically Renato got brought in between, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
If you remember, all the other guys got brought in post what's it called? Help me out here. Post the preseason games, if you remember.
Sure, yes. Yeah.
I'm genuinely of the belief that they may have panic signed a lot of these players, bro. Post preseason, because I think, yeah, if you looked at our preseason, bro, we were not great in our preseason. Now, obviously, part of that was that MARESCA was teaching these guys the new system, but the way we played in that preseason, bro, you know what I mean, was worrying, bro. We were losing quite considerably in that time period, bro.
Yeah, we were shit in preseason.
Yeah,
we were worse in preseason than we are now.
Yes, like that's what I'm saying. We were really bad, yeah. And then obviously after preseason happened, bro, the amount of signings we were hitting signings like they were like uno, bro, legit.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Do you see my thought process now?
I don't know. Because I could see it. I just don't believe it. Simply because, and listen, I could be wrong about this, but like, simply because a lot of the signings were youngsters that, like, I'm trying to think. Neto was a new signing. KDH was, I think, an English or a domestic quota, right?
That's why I didn't include KDH. I didn't include KDH and Vega.
Felix was a favor because Neto, I think. I mean, maybe. I do think it was just, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a saying for it. Business as usual. Yeah. I think a lot of the signings were just business as usual. Okay, cool. We got our manager or head coach that we put in. Now we can do what we want to do without the manager putting up a fuss. He knows the plan. We're just going to continue doing what we're doing. Recruiting youngsters, buying low, selling high. And to an extent, I don't think there was very much panic buys. I think these guys, at least from my point of view as a fan, saw what happened with Poch in terms of, oh, you're so good in the preseason, then the season comes around and we're shit for 3/4 of it. And maybe they didn't want to buy into the idea too heavily into preseason. Plus, if and I'm not saying they're football men, but if you start to learn to watch football, I think me and you could see that, like, okay, there's ideas here. It's mistakes that we're making. But the idea is there. Like I see the football, I see the improvement in some of the players and the idea. Let's just let it cook a little bit and see how this goes. And we started off the season great. In terms of the season and those players though, and looking at the players in the future, I do think it's business as usual. I'm not gonna lie to you, Ahmed, though. I do think this is my conspiracy theory now. Tip for tat.
Tristan.
I do think we had a dead January because we're trying to do all the stuff ahead of time for Quenda, Isugu, and the departures of a lot of these players. I think the January window was used to do that. To negotiate a bunch of deals that will be pulled, the trigger will be pulled on in the first few weeks of June before the Club World Cup.
Listen. Oh my god, I know something crazy. I'll talk to you about after the stream. But
Sure.
it's the thing for me, Marshall, is that I'm gonna wait and see because
Yeah.
the reality is right now, these guys, when it comes to incomings, bro, whenever they target big players for incomings, bro, they're currently 0 and 5 right now, essentially.
It's year 3 of the project.
It's 0 and something right now. They've missed on all of the big signings, bro. Basically, in my personal opinion, I'm not gonna class Enzo and Caicedo as big signings, in my personal opinion, because
Really?
The reason why, because listen,
For the fee that we got them at?
I think the difference between the fee you get someone and I think the quality of like signing they are. Because Enzo was a quality for me. Enzo, was he a top tier player when we brought him? No, but was he a quality player that was going to become a top tier player? Yes, that's the difference I'm talking about, Marshall. Right? Like if you look at Osimhen, for example, that the club wanted, for example, even though I didn't want him at the time, and to be honest, even now I still have my reservations on the player. Right?
Sure.
He's a top tier signing. Olise is a top tier certified signing.
Olise, I agree with you. Would have been a top tier signing.
Osimhen,
Yep.
Olise, who's the other guys that you've been linked to that I've forgotten about? The chat can help me out here, but irregardless, bro, when it comes to those type of signers, elite signers, bro,
Those are the big ones, really, yeah.
We are null point on that one, right? So for me, man, that is what I'm looking at. I'm like, we need to be improving on those things. Right. So in my personal opinion, I look at that. They need to be made ready. We need to be getting those done. But the problem is, when I'm hearing Liam Delap, two seasons plus of development that's going to be required from Liam Delap before we can say he's the end all be all. Who's some other signers that are trying to? Mark Gurhey. At the end of the day, I think he's just gonna do a job for us. That's what we need, bro. Right? That's what I think. I've come to accept that when it comes to centre back market, bro, we need guys that's going to be able to be consistent, bro. We need consistency right now in there more than anything else in my eyes. The winger itself is interesting because I'm seeing Nico Williams being linked by like a lot of our guys, a lot of our mates, and I'm like,
we know it's not going to happen. Yeah,
happen. But there's other guys that I know out there that might be happening that I don't want to.
Like who?
Plays for AC Milan.
Leao.
I genuinely think Leao's gonna happen, bro. I've said,
please no, please.
Me and Neo spoken.
I don't want to be in bed with George Mendes anymore. This is
bro.
Not fun.
We've already got 4 players from George Mendes.
Bro,
I got called. Someone said to me that I'm being conspiratorial, bro, by saying that. Yeah, we already have 4 players from him, bro.
Yeah, no, thank you. We need to stop,
right? This. Like for me. He wants out. The AC and Chelsea have a good relationship right now. We know, bro, it's cash money, bro. It's almost cash money, that one. That's like, you could probably do you could probably bet and the bet and like the house would probably say you have better odds of winning than us. If that makes sense. So that's the worry I have, right? That when I look at some of the signs that we may be potentially making.
No, I get that. It is worrying. But at the same time, though, if they're gonna stick to their guns and stick to this youth model and like hope that they develop into the players they're supposed to, I ain't gonna lie to you, Ahmed. I'm kind of falling for the trap because I'm looking at the future of Chelsea. Like without if let's say tomorrow we get a transfer ban, right? Bro, next season we have Santos, we have Isugo, we have Paez, we have Esteval, and Cuenda is on his way in 2016, so I'm not gonna count. I shouldn't count him. But Leslie Ugochukwu's coming back. Who else? We have Anselmino, depending on how he develops too. Like Caleb Wiley. Like we have players that. Oh shit!
You just say Caleb Wiley, Marshall.
I
You
just
are
threw
a
him
troll,
in there
man.
bro,
You
I
are
just threw-
genuinely a troll.
Thank you,
That's
Petrovic.
troll.
Caleb Petrovic, bro. Like no, but
Caleb
like
Petrovic.
I just throw him in there, man.
All right,
Like,
listen. Like, listen. I get there's gonna be some guys here where I agree with you, right? But the problem that I think there's a real problem though, right?
Vega?
Which is, listen, Vega's gonna be back. Of course, that's good, but the
He might
reality
get
is, bro.
sold. He might get sold. Yeah.
Listen, Maresca's not playing in LCB, so what's gonna happen? So what's the point of him being here?
Well, you said it, man. Maresca out.
I said as a troll, but like, listen,
Yeah.
there's actually another thing we should talk about Maresca, by the way, but we'll get to him.
We'll end on Maresca.
Yes, but like, there's some guys where I'm looking at where I'm like, Andre Santos, I love what I've seen from him, and hopefully he can continue. But there's a worry in the back of my mind, which is like, I don't know if these guys might sell him if they get an £80 million offer, bro. There's a worry in my mind there, like, and there's good reason.
I think it's on Andre Santos. It's
Right.
in his hands.
Of course, right? But like, there is like something that you could say in your back of your head to be like, you know what, mate? There is something that you could be worried about a little bit there, at least in the back of your mind, bro. Whether we like to admit it or not, bro. Right? Petrovic, I love him. I want to see him play more. You know, I was a big fan of Petrovic, but I know Scott was.
I think a lot of us were.
Right? He will probably do well for us in the whether we like to admit it or not, right? There's a lot of guys in Strasbourg that I look at and I'm like, yeah, a season or two more, they could do really well for our team, bro, and add to our team.
I think so. Like I think time will tell because the Premier League is a different animal. It's a different beast. We've seen it. It will you will either thrive or you'll get chewed up and spitting out. You know, like it's proven this season to take out a lot of people and a lot of the most renowned managers. So I will be patient. I am excited, but I will be patient about it because I understand this is the Premier League. It's a different animal. And once you step foot into the Premier League, you either survive or you don't, or you drown. But in terms of like the players that I just spoke about, right? I think we do have a bright future ahead of us if these players live up to their potential. Do you think Maresca is the guy that can actually get that out of them?
And there lies the $1 million question, bro.
Oh, well,
Genuinely.
billion dollar at this point.
Sorry,
man.
trillion. Sorry.
Trillion.
There lies the
Hey,
$1 trillion question.
Flashback humor, guys. There you go.
There we go, man. That's the listen.
Yeah.
But that's the big question, right? Because
Yeah.
you know, if our performances continue the way they are, man, Marshall, you can say to Ahmed, you're being a dickhead. You're being a waste of money.
Ahmed, so you were. I don't know if you were here for it. I don't think you were. But we watched a tactical video on what happened with Chelsea.
I was there, remember?
Okay, you were. I'm sorry, I can't keep track. But I do genuinely think this season, if Maresca doesn't have the tools to get the job done and he has to use other tools and makeshift tools, it's not going to work with the system. And so for me, I think a lot of it was poor recruiting. Next season, I think it'll be a lot more consistent because we will have backups for those positions.
But then, you know, I look at that, but then I'm like, okay, then does that mean we need to sell Gusto then, bro?
I don't think though. I hope not. I think Gusto just needs to adapt,
but for example, but the reason why I say that is because right now in that position, bro, he inverts the guy in there. Gusto's been trying to do that all season to little to no effect, in my personal opinion, because he doesn't have those. It's clear he doesn't have those skill sets either as of yet, or will never have them. Right? For example, who else am I thinking about? But that's pretty much. I feel like that's only him, really. I don't really feel like other than that right now. But I also think his other issue right now is that it's the way he plays his system and his tactics, bro. Is that it's killing our wingers, bro. I said it before. Our wingers are not they're not Dino, they're not Neymar. You know what I mean? These guys. Listen, you ever got like Prime Maluda, bro? Yeah, that's on the wing that can take 3 guys on, yeah, and keep it pushing. Right, that's the problem, bro.
Yeah, but
Like,
I do think some of these, like, time will tell. I do feel like Quenda could potentially be that kind of player.
Yeah, but again, Marshall, the problem with Quenda arguments is that he's 2 years into the future, bro.
I know, but we just have to be patient.
But bro, I can't believe the problem is this is another argument to have here quickly. I know you want to probably end soon, right? The problem, the problem that we have also, Marshall, is that how much longer can we well and truly wait, Marshall? That's a good question. That's another question you have to ask yourself, right? Because realistically, this is the 3rd year we're in yet. We got to the French mandem. I love using this, by the way, as the free sign. That's actually elite. But like, we are in year 3, bro. Next year, we are in year 4 of the project, Marshall. You almost already, you're about to hit the 50% mark here of whatever shit these guys are literally trying to do.
Yeah. But you gotta admit.
How much more can we wait? But how much more can we wait? No. But like, even like from a fan base perspective, bro, you're seeing the way the fan base is as of right now, bro. Even I'm starting to teeter into that range, bro. Yeah, where it's like, bro, next season has to be the big season where you're competing, bro. It has to be minimum competing next season, bro. Right? Whether we have to admit, bro, that's what's going to be the case. Right? Because right now, bro, you're seeing the breaking points being reached. A lot of, like, you're seeing the way people are reacting right now, bro. You're losing recipes, bro. You can't keep on doing next CFC because, like, it's already been 4 years, bro.
I think this is the problem, right? And I understand what you're coming from. I agree. I think it's too late now. I think it's not too late, but I think there was a way where you could have maintained success currently while also building for the future. Now, 3 seasons in, I think they've dug their heels in and they're playing the long game. Like, we're going to get Andre Santos 2 years ago. We got Andre Santos because we want him to help us push for the league in 3 years. Paez, we got a year ago because we want him to help us push for the league in 2026. And to an extent, playing the long run because you know you're going to have to compete with Man City and their money and the players that they're going to be bringing in. You know you're going to have to compete with the players that have already developed under Arteta. You know, I think in the long haul, when you see all the players that we're going to get, again, this is all banking on the fact that if they reach their potential, which, excuse me, I think a good portion of them will. I don't think all of them will. And I think some of them might not even get a chance to because the competition is going to be too thick here at Chelsea. But before you go, and then I'll let you go and then we'll end it. I do really think next season, with all the planning that they've done, and listen, I know Chelsea fans don't like this. And to an extent, I think Chelsea fans have made the decision that they don't like MARESCA, and no matter what happens, they're MARESCA out. Very much like Sarri. So, with me, you look at, and this is something I said earlier in another show. For them, the going in the right direction narrative, right, began when they took over the club based on that first season and not where Chelsea was before they took it. So their day zero was there. And since that day zero, if we do make Champions League this season, is progress.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Listen, I've never been sorry out. Firstly, what the flip is going on? Yeah, I've never said sorry out. You know what I mean? Firstly, listen, I can't lie to you, Marshall. That was crazy when you said that. I didn't say pause because I was like, you know what? I'm not in those guys that's got his mind in the car. I actually like the conversation we're having right now. So, like, my problem right now is that
yeah.
You know, first of all, it's disrespectful to be placing Sarri and MARESCA together, bro. Respect Sarri Nation, bro. You know what I mean? This guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I just want to say respect. Sorry,
People didn't want to give sorry time, is what I was saying.
the problem is, the problem was with sorry, bro. I don't think the fan base was ready for sorry. I'll be very real with you, bro. They weren't ready. Sorry was ahead of his time, bro. You know what I mean?
Man, they're still not ready.
Listen, but the difference is, man.
If Sorry came back this season, I feel like all the fans that were like, yo, I'll take Sorry back, would have flip-flopped immediately after January. They would have been like, nah, man, this ball is too boring, bro. Like, they would have, nah. All right, yeah, go ahead.
You know, I just think for me, the conversation I just want to have right now, and I think for me with MARESCA is, and before I get to MARESCA, actually, the earlier point you made, we can't, I think the problem for us, Marshall, right now is that, and you're kind of proving the point that I've said before, is that it's too much medium to future thinking.
Yeah. I get it.
You have to think of the short term at some point, Marshall, right? You have to, one thing about life, bro, whether we like to admit it or not, bro, there has to be some level of balance, bro. You have to balance everything, bro. You know what I mean? You and me, we both work, but we also have we both work a lot, bro. We also have like a natural work-life balance, bro. You need to realize, bro, if you do too much of working, like I'm doing this last week and this week, bro, you know what I mean? Your life balance is going to be quite low, right? And you're going to start crashing out, bro, on your bed. Yeah. The moment you touch it, you know,
my chair,
bro. The mattress in the chair, bro.
Ladies and gents, I passed out on this chair 10 minutes before the stream. And I was like, oh yeah. I literally, me and Ahmed literally getting home from work.
Genuinely.
Genuinely.
Like, that's the thing I always say, bro, Marshall. Like, you have to have the balance in life in general. Let alone football. Like,
this is crazy.
Listen, we don't, listen, you know.
This is a Drake comment, bro. Let's calm down.
Let's calm down, firstly, and also listen. We don't cheer on them, man. Shout out to my snowbunny. But listen to me, but you know, no. But as I was like coming back to like the point, there needs to be some short-term thinking on the pitch, bro, because you need to have some level of consistency that they're giving you. You can still do your future stuff, bro. That's my issue fundamentally with the club, bro. Like too much of the medium to long term is forgotten for the short term. Quenda's coming back in 2 years, bro. He's still gonna need probably a year or two to develop, bro, when he's at the club. Yeah. Esteban's gonna need a year or two to develop at the club. Pai's gonna be a year or two to develop at the club. So many guys are gonna need at least.
But some may hit the ground running.
Yes, but like some may hit the ground running, but like as if it's a natural progression for some of these guys. I like Gusto, for example, was a great example of this actually. Great first season, second season is kind of regressed slightly, or you can probably say it's not playing to natural position, low on confidence, but that's natural for a young player, bro. Yeah. Right? So at the end of the day, bro, with MARESCA, my worry for MARESCA is that I don't think, you know, if he loses Conference League, Marshall, do you think he even makes it, bro? Honest question. Let's like, so we can wrap it up.
I've said if he loses Conference League, I'm MARESCA.
He's got to go, bro, right? He's got to go.
I agree.
This comment, right? I get the top, listen, the top four thing, I think, there's a discussion to be had with the know who wants to go, but I'm going to save that for when we get to that bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because then I'm going to be listen, because like I'm very critical of him right now. I want to see how stuff progresses before, you know, I give the knockout punch, because, you know, it's too easy for me to do this early and to say MARESCA out. Again, whenever I use the MARESCA out joke, I said it as a joke, funnily enough, and now it's picked up like crazy. So, you know, Thebridgenation.
What happens when you play with fire, Ahmed? Sometimes you burn a whole forest, bro. Yeah.
But like the problem for me is just that the way we are playing right now, Marshall. Yeah. And like this what's not progression of what's it called, Marshall? I forgot its name. Performances. There we go. Right,
performances. Okay.
Right. Have been, bro. Legia also is like not obviously this week, but it's in 2 weeks, bro. Even if you get past them, a Betis or Fiorentina, bro, final, bro. The way we're playing.
Betis does make me a little nervous, I ain't gonna lie.
Fiorentina makes you worried even more, bro, I'll be honest.
But I genuinely feel, watch the space, people, because I genuinely feel when the right pieces come back and MARESCA doesn't have to try to use a screwdriver to take out a tire, I do genuinely feel that we will be cooking again and we'll be okay.
But Marshall, the guys that are coming back were not in form when they were with us. So
remember what I said? It's the mentality. They're taking a break out of the limelight, and I think they'll be okay when they come back. Some of these players were playing through injuries. They will improve as a performances, not just them, but a lot of other people. And I genuinely think there will be an overall performance, because not only that, Ahmed, we kind of have a slight advantage when you think about it. we come back from international break, and unless you're Man City, all these other teams are getting a break. We get an extra week off to really recover, and I think that's gonna be a big difference.
What
We'll
do you
see,
mean,
man?
What do you mean? What do you
Because
mean by
we
that?
don't play. We don't play because when we come back from international break, FA Cup plays.
I know, but like this, but like all the big teams are not playing, bro. Like only the people that play,
Yeah,
like
barring Man City, who we're competing against for top 4 spot.
yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens, man.
And Bournemouth play, Newcastle play. All these teams are competing against. So we get an extra week off. Now, will it help us? We'll see. But I think it should, logically. But, you know, not everything is so logical here at Chelsea, as we know. But, all right, Ahmed, we're going to wrap it up. I got a show to work on later for tomorrow that I'm sure you'll be on. But, Ahmed, let the man-them know where they can find you.
Obviously, guys, you can find me on Thebridgenation, and if I hear March say the mandem again, you know, what I mean, I'm gonna just have to take a Casually FC. You know what I mean?
Boots on, bro.
Listen, Casually FC, you need to take him on there. But listen, make sure to stay tuned. I'm gonna be on the show obviously tomorrow with Marshall at 10 p.m. Make sure to be there. Make sure to be square. Of course, it's gonna be a lot of fun tomorrow. I'll be honest, man. You know, this is not. Listen,
We have a lot of news to talk about, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of news to talk about, and I'm not gonna be professional like I am now. I'm gonna go back to my regular default settings. But
that's why you know, after watching some tier list videos, I was like, nah, we gotta show what Ahmed's like in his true life,
lie,
bro.
Man, listen, I can't lie to you. That's just Prime being a dickhead because but it is what it is, man. I really could not care less. But you know what I mean? Listen, one thing I always say, man, you gotta listen, big up to anyone that the fact I'm on a tier list is kind of crazy. Big up to the man for even thinking.
Hey, big up for being on a tier list. That's
you know what I mean? That's W's anyway in general. But like, you know,
yeah,
it's game's the game. But listen, make sure to tune in tomorrow. It'll be a good show. In terms of like Chelsea related stuff, maybe I'm gonna obviously do the Wednesday preview, which is next week. But I don't really. But there's not much Chelsea to talk about. Well, I don't want to. Like, I feel like I've spoken about quite consistently about the stadium.
It does get
stuff,
to the point of the season where it's
I've
getting
spoken about
yeah.
spoken about the stadium stuff. The only thing I can think of is maybe like I have like a little thing on Monday upcoming that I just discussed generally what's going to be happening with Chelsea and stuff like that. But
yeah,
nothing much to speak about, boys. I'll be real.
Yeah, no, I get you, man. But yeah, you guys know the Thebridgenation over on YouTube. Find them there. Condurance. It's not everything is fine. It's more so like I'm not gonna react. There's games to be played and things to see come into fruition, and we'll see what happens when it happens. Then I'll react. But yeah, ladies and gents, you already know. Smash the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel. Help us get to 5K. Big announcement for the channel. For myself, coming at 5K. So be sure, please, to go ahead and do so. Ahmed, Thebridgenation, down in the description below, in the title. Go and show some support. He does watch-alongs with RSM and WAV Sports. So go ahead and watch those as well. And then if you're a member, the proper casual and higher tier members get a shout out at the end of every show, and that's going to be TM127, EE, Dark, Adrian, A, Soliman. Thank you so much for your support, guys, and thank you everyone else who's also a member. We're going to be rating out to, I think, Saeed TV or Hussam, whoever is actually doing the collab stream there. They're both streaming, so go ahead and show support. Let them know where you're coming from, and as always, guys, we'll be here back tomorrow for the Casually Chelsea show. Lots of news to talk about, even though it's been an international break. A lot of PR has been out. We're going to have the PR sessions here on Casually Chelsea tomorrow. But yeah, guys, stay tuned. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss out. And we'll catch you again. Thank you for being here. Big up, Ahmed. Thank you for coming on the show today. And we'll be back again very soon, ladies and gents. Until then, have a wonderful night. Stay casual. Peace.